Ableton Live is to Swayzak is around 10 years ago. We were in Berlin, of course, and we were in a bar with a famous DJ called Ricardo Villalobos, and he mentioned this software to us. So the next day we went in a taxi driving around Berlin trying to find it, and we never found it anywhere because we thought that it would be in a store, but it still wasn't in the stores. Eventually got it, and it was to replace our live music, which was previously using huge Akai S950 samplers, and enabling us to play live without having to carry 50 kilos of equipment. Yeah, we've been using it for about 10 years now, and I got to say it's great software for playing live, but also for writing music. It's very good. Here's a version of my live set from last night. It's actually based on tracks that we're working on, based on songs that we've been writing in the past, or just clips from songs that we're in the process of writing. And that's the good thing about live. If you're just working on something, you want to try it out playing in a club, you can just export it, put it into your set and go and play it and see if it works before you even finish the songs. And you know, experiment with the sound a lot more. Basically, the way we have our live setup is we have banks of sounds. For example, channel 8 is more atmospheric sounds. Channel 1 is more kicks, kick drums and loops. Channel 2 is more bass lines. And this is completely random, so we mix everything with everything else. So on each channel we tend to use I use a small compressor on each channel, which is an Ableton compressor, which comes from the Ableton banks over here. You have your instruments, your MIDI effects, and your audio effects. I don't actually use a lot of the Ableton effects, but I like the compressors are very good. So basically, I don't know how knowledgeable people are of Ableton, but the effects are in a bank, and you drag and drop the effects into the specific channels. For example, these are some of the software effects from other brands that I like to use, and I'll give you an example of Spring Reverb. It's now on the channel. And all your sounds are imported from these banks here on the left hand side. Under here somewhere, in here somewhere is my banks of sounds. I guess probably in music, Ableton. So with the sounds, you drag and drop them into the channel, and here you have a rather digital looking clip, which kind of looks a bit distorted, but it's not distorting at all. And you can do many things with these clips. How I tend to use them for quality is basically when you import the quality, you can change them here from beats to tones, to texture, and you will hear subtle differences in the sound. You can re-pitch them. You also have the transients, which you can alter the sound here by changing the attack. So you're just losing. It's like a gated effect. You can also transpose the sounds like this. Simply like use. And of course, everything's looped for playing live. We're looping things in 1 bars, 2, 3, 4. And this is quite a nice analog tape compressor, which gives you the effect of reel-to-reel tapes, which gives you an analog sound almost to digital music. As you can see, I use quite a cheap MIDI controller, and it's kind of broken. I've been using it for about 7 years, but it works really well. It's a really solid piece of equipment, and you could use 3 or 4 of these, and you can have the channels spread all across with faders for every channel. So as I say, all our banks of sounds are kind of random. Some of them have color coding, like here, and these are. Some of you might recognize this, one of our older tracks, which are sampled and re-edited. You can also solo the tracks, of course. Change the pitch. So this is quite a nice way for playing live and doing things quite randomly. And that's me just turning the filter on for quite a nice effect. You can also change the width of the tracks for viewing purposes. You can have them like this or like that. If you've got bad eyesight, it's probably better like this. And we also use 2 channels of effects sends. This is effect send A. Now we use one channel like this and one channel with reverb. This has always been a way that we work with our sound, with just very basic effects, reverb and delay, mainly because we didn't have any money to buy any other effects. It's very easy to move around the screen up and down like so. Just if you're using Apple or PC, I guess it's the same. I tend not to use a mouse and I just use my fingers to drag things around. And down here at the bottom, this is for latency. If you want to put some delay on the tracks, you can hear the delay now on the drums going totally out of time. And the solo button. And what you can also do is you go to the tracks, you can copy Apple T, create another track. And here you change the inputs to resampling. Put this onto record mode. And then we can just pick up that kick drum with the delay on it now, recording. You know, it's a pretty complex piece of software, but very adaptable. I find it very good for writing music. I find things like Logic and Cubase far too many windows to open and close and too many things to do. But with Ableton, you can start playing, you can start recording very quickly. You just got to understand it works a completely different way from the other software. You can obviously use whatever MIDI controllers you want to use, whatever sound cards you want to use. They all pretty much interact with Ableton. I have had some problems with a few sound cards in the past. I wouldn't mention any names, but I